What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. Today on the left side here, we have branded Chimera, a deck that's been evolved a little bit, just throughout all of it. You know, getting more support every single set, it seems like, which is nice because you have new illusion monsters to support the deck out very well. But on the right side here, we also have Dragon Link, a deck that's been getting support through the ages here, lots of support, and seeing lots of hits on the ban list as well, with multiple other cards being at 1. We'll be able to still pick it up and take the wins here. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. We're going to be seeing Dragon Link going to be going first here with a special amount of the Fenrir. I do want to apologize for the glare that's going to be occurring here. We're still, sometimes when it's getting a white mat, the white sleeves also get glary, which is kind of unfortunate there. We're going to see a Fenrir, then we're going to be seeing a normal summon out of the Black Metal Dragon. Then we're going to be linking away for a Striker Dragon. Then we're going to go Chain Link 1, the Black Metal, because we already have the boot in the hand, which is very unfortunate due to, you know, the fact that it is a semi of a brick. I guess you can just search it for free, so why would you really want that? Then we're going to see them special summon out the Red MD by banishing the Striker Dragon there. And then we go Fenrir, or they're going to go Effect. They're going to chain the Veiler here. Then we're going to be seeing the Fenrir going to be able to search for another copy of itself. And then we also have a Droplets in the hand, which can be quite beneficial to us. We're going to see a set 1 and just a pass on this. We do see Gazelle and Chimera Fusion here. We're going to be seeing Branded Fusion going to be activated here, starting off strong, jumping the Albaz as well as a Hexial, which can then go into the Albion. And then we can activate the Albion's effect here. Going to be banishing both of those. Definitely no need to Fenrir this. To be going then for the copy of the Dragoon. Dragoon is a very much of a powerhouse. We're going to see a normal summon out of the Mirror Swords Knight here. And then we can activate its effects to tag out into a big welcome. Or not a big welcome, a big wing Bephermat here. I can imagine if it would tag out into a trap card. We're going to see it tag out here for the Big King, which can search for a Chimera Fusion as well as a Gazelle. We're going to attempt to activate the effects here. Looks like our opponent is thinking they could flip up the copy of Droplets here. They're going to be activating Fenrir, and then they're going to be chaining Droplets. Sending 2 monsters here to negate essentially the Big Wing as well as the Dragoon here. And we see the Albion banished face down off of the Fenrir there. Definitely no need now to do the other ones. And we're going to be stopping like that search, I guess, during the end phase, I suppose. But we're going to be drawing 2 off of Talents here, which draws into another Talents and an Ibiru, which is kind of unfortunate. But they simply just pass turn on this. They're going to be seeing them activate the Red MD once again. Is this worth even Dragooning is a question? They did get rid of 2 Fenrirs, but are they maybe afraid of the third is a question. We're going to see Dragoon end up negating this, destroying and gaining the 1,000. But they could just Talents and take it, which is kind of crazy. We're going to see a Talents to take. And it will resolve. It does, it does not target, so they can take it. It is affected by other card effects. And it does have, 4,000 attack, which is pretty nuts against this. Can they deal a 4,000 more is the question. They're tempted to ask if they can has the negate one more time, which we can check what Dragoon says. I believe Dragoon has the wording that it's... the wording off Dragoon is... Neither player can target this, one blah blah blah. Quick effect. You can discard this card. It doesn't even say. Once per turn when a card or effect is activated. So I suppose that you can. It doesn't say you can only use the effect once per turn. So I guess you should be able to do it because it's technically another, like it's a once per turn effect, but it's restriction to the opponent. It doesn't say like you can only use this effect once per turn. Actually, no, you shouldn't be able to because it says once per turn like on the card. So it doesn't say it's not like once per turn you can. It's just a once per turn effect. Essentially here. But they do have a boot sector launch, and I think that's a droll in the hand. Or is that a Seifert? They're going to be seeing a normal summon out of the Seifert Dragon. It's going to activate effects. So you're going to be able to search for a light or a dark. Going for the Light Dragon, which can banish the Red MD. I'm just going to scoop it up there, realizing it's going to be too much, especially with the Dragoon Negate there. They will be going to be able to link away and then go up to Romulus. Romulus can activate effects, pitch. But they won't have the Dragoon Negate anymore. But it's still just going to be way too much there. Unfortunately for them, especially when they get the ball rolling, you're going to be able to start adding back cards with the Seifert there. But moving on to game 2, we're going to be seeing the Chimera player going to be choosing who's going to go first or second. And they could have some very powerful cards. Like Fenrir is very good against Dragon Link when you're able to set up like a good board. They activate their Bestials, they summon themselves out, then you just banish the Bestial there. So essentially they just don't get any like kind of not recursion, but essentially no body on the field so that the Blue Bellion cannot tag itself out. Essentially, which is very nice. We do see them siding out the Nibs, it looks like, as well as a Fenrir there. So going with Fenrir siding out as well as Nibs, which makes sense, going second against the deck. Fenrir doesn't do that very much because normally they'll summon out a Guardian Chimera, pop a bunch of your stuff, and essentially that's going to be it. Mirror Swords Knight will be able to tag out into the Big Wing. Normally they do that during the draw phase, so you will be able to dodge that essentially by not being able to special summon out of Fenrir. But we're going to be diving on into game 2 here after we see them shuffle up. If there's any other content you guys want me to do, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm always looking to expand my horizons and trying different stuff out. Live duels is really like what the channel started off as, which people do seem to enjoy. I don't see that much content of it. Like we do see a lot of content like this on YouTube, but a lot of it's just the same decks over and over and over again. Which I'm trying to like show off different decks, but unfortunately, there's only like so many decks people are playing that's viable this format. So we can only play it with what the people at our locals does give us, unfortunately. But we're going to be diving on in again, and we see a branded fusion as well as a Chimera fusion, and I can't tell any other cards in the hand other than Hex Seal, which is kind of unfortunate. But I do see a Veiler on the side of our opponent here in the Dragon Link deck. We're going to see a normal summon of Gazelle activating the effects here. It's going to resolve. Are we going to search for a Big Wing because we have the Chimera fusion in the hand already? We are, okay. And we're not going to get hit with the Droll here. Then we're going to go for a branded fusion, which is most likely going to be going straight for a... Oh. We're actually going to be choosing to go for a copy of the Rinbrum instead of the Albion here, which is quite good. Being an extra deck Monster Negate, as well as going to be able to quick fuse with Albaz to be able to go for like a Lubellion during our opponent's turn and discarding the Hex Seal Fusion right then and there. And it kind of plays around Valor because then it's, being the summon during our opponent's turn here. Then we're going to see the Gazelle going to be having these effects to search here for a copy of the Coatl, which can then search for a Sword Knight here, which can be used, during the following turn with the Chimera Fusion there. We go, why would you not just search the Mirror Sword Knight there? But the Coatl offers a different form of negate, a targeting negate while you have the Big Wing, or not Big Wing, but the Beffermat on the field here. Then we'll see a Chimera Fusion going to be activated there, which is going to let us go for a King. Going for the new one here, it's going to let them dump a card from the deck. It also still is Chimera on the field, though, which is very nice. And we get the Big Wing effect to summon back out the Mirror Swords Knight, too, which is also pretty crazy. So we're going to see them activate the effect to try to reborn it. Then we're going to target it with the Sorneer here to stop that reborn. They're going to let that go through here. Unfortunately, banishing that Mirror Swords Knight. Something with the Druid Worm here. Then we're going to be activating the effects to add back the Chimera Fusion. What is nice is that we can actually still banish. Like, having a monster banish is not that bad. It does kind of stop that we don't have a monster negate. But losing the Mirror Swords Knight is not the worst that could happen. I think we also have another one in hand as well. I could be mistaken here. But we're going to see this go for a Chimera Fusion once again here. Going for a copy of the Chimera King here, which can activate effects as well as the Fusion can activate the effects to bring back the Mirror Swords Knight. And that Chimera was in defense position there, but we also see a Super Poly here, which is nice as well. Then we're going to activate the effect and discard a card during our opponent's end phase here. So maybe hitting the Valor there. I wonder if they should have just hit the Valor on the target so that they don't lose a card. But they also have the targeting negate, so possibly hitting that can be nice. But instead we're going to be hitting a Sorneer here. It's going to activate the effects, sending the Lubellion, which is going to get their turn started right away here by just being able to tribute off the Druid Swarm for the Lubellion here as well, which is very nice. Here we're going to take the time to read. They do have two monsters on the field, and Rinbrum's not going to do very much. It does provide a balance, which is kind of nice, especially versus like a copy of what am I trying to say here? Like Striker Dragon is pretty nice to bounce back so that they can't get its effects, or can't get another monster on the field. But we're going to be going for the Lubellion here, which is going to be going for the Druid Worm Send. And it does not activate here, so we're going to be attempting to send the Rinbrum here. We're going to be negating with the Coatl. And I feel like we should just chain the one in the banish zone. I feel like we should have maybe done that during the main phase, but we're going to activate the Lubellion effect here, which is going to be going through, putting the branded Regained onto the field here, which is an absolutely insane card, I want to mention. We do have a Super Poly on the field, which we have to discard a card for. But if we summon out the Big Wing from the deck by summoning out our Mirror Swords Knight there, and then obviously tagging out the Mirror Swords Knight for the copy of Big Wing, and then getting those 2 additional cards, we'll have enough for the Albaz as well as the Mirror Swords Knight there. Then we're going to see them activate the effect of talents, and this is when I think that they should have chained the effect in the graveyard. I mean, I'm just going to make sure that I am correct on if they can even do that. So after reading that card, you can actually only use it during your opponent's turn, so I guess they couldn't have done that during their turn there. They could have done it during the stand or the draw phase there, summoning it out. But now we're going to be taking the Rinbrum, which is going to be allowing them to negate essentially that effect in the graveyard there, which is going to be quite rough for us, as well as not being able to put that Rinbrum in the graveyard. We're going to see a tribute summon for a driver, which is going to get the lights, the first light target in the grave. So we can kind of tell what's going to be going on here. We also have the Legionnaire and the Black Dragon in the hand. But we could go for a Super Poly here, maybe. Well, no, because it's a light. So it's going to be going through here. I mean, depending on what they banish, they have to banish with the Black Dragon first, banishing that, and then here we could absolutely flip up the Super Poly and use the Dark and the Rinbrum here to go for a Predaplant Dracostapelia. And we're going to be seeing the Black Dragon going to be triggering here. And they can essentially just chain the fusion here to target the Mirror Swords Knight. And then we're doing exactly what we said earlier here. They're going to summon out the Mirror Swords Knight, and they can activate the effect to summon out. Oh yeah, I guess we do get to summon out the Druid Swarm here, or I guess the Swordneer in this case, off the regain. They're going to activate the effect of Mirror Swords Knight here to summon out the Big Wing from the deck. And that's going to allow them to have 2 searches, as well as a monster negate in the form of the Mirror Swords Knight there. Monster on the field, I'd like to mention, by the way. Everyone's like, a monster negate, which would have been absolutely insane if that card was just a regular old monster negate. Holy. They're going to see them go Rinbrum, summoning out the Albaz, activate the effect of the Albaz, pitching the Chimera Fusion to go for an Albion, and then Albion will be able to go for the Dragoon. And essentially we have now 2 monster negates as well as Dragostapelia here, which is absolutely insane for us. We're going to see a special amount of White Dragon putting the black. We could put it back to the bottom of the deck and then attempting to draw a card here. We are going to be negating that with the Dragoon. And then we can Predaplant and make it a level 1 so we can't even link away with it. I think that's what we can do here. Or they can still link away with it, I guess. There's no really point of doing that. I mean, they could go on to Chaos Angel if they wanted to. See them going to go a link 2 into a copy of Dark here. Okay. And then we get to dump off the Swordneer, because we only did that during the last turn here, and it's a new turn. Then we can go Dark Effect, going to be targeting Big Wing, and I guess it's really the only target there. They're going to be negating it with the Mirror Swords Knight, which can let them going to be activating the copy here of Levianeer, banishing 2 lights and a dark to be able to summon himself out and pop 2 cards on the field. I remember when I got this card, and the first time I got this card in Ultimate Rarity, I loved this card. It was one of my first ultra rares alties that I ever gotten. Then we're going to be seeing them go for Predator Plant Dracostapelia here, and then they're going to be turning it into a level 1, which is going to let them be able to link it away for a Striker Dragon here, which is kind of nice. Going to be able to search for that Boot Sector launch. But we don't have any of the rockets in the grave, nor the deck here. So we can't really go for anything other than... Actually, we can go for a Unicorn, and that's about it, because we can't even go for a Dragon, because it's not a Dragon. Dark is a Dark. We could have maybe go in Battle Phase and attack, and then crash, and then be able to search for a copy of the, like, a Tracer there. But that wouldn't have given us very much of anything. You know, it would have given us... Let's see. We can go Tracer, Tracer Pop. I guess they can summon back from... Well, they can't summon back from the grave. So I suppose it gives them a like Seals or a Savage. But Dragoon just tramples over that regardless. So they were going to be losing there. But moving on to game 3 here. We see with each one of them with 1 under their belt. But Dragon Link will have the advantage, being able to go first here. Setting up a pretty powerful board. I wonder if they're going to be siding out that Dragoon stuff there. Like, we did see how powerful Dragoon was, even in the hands, using it as a discard fodder for that Super Poly there. I mean, it worked out very well for them, being able to go for an Albion and then just go immediately for that Dragoon play. Stealing their monsters is absolutely crazy. But we're going to be seeing them shuffle up here. You know, Chimera does shuffle a lot due to the fact that they end up clumping a lot. Like we see when you use like Chimera Fusion, you're going to be putting a Beast and a Wing, I guess a Beast and a Fiend in the graveyard. Like, do you really want to see like a Chimera, Beast, and a Fiend all in your hand? Especially if you go for all those combos. Combo players definitely relate. You know, when you're playing a trap deck, it doesn't really matter. You know, a lot of times you actually want to be seeing your traps in a row here. But we're going to be seeing the Dragon Link player going to be starting, or going first, summoning out a Fenrir. Once again, so siding it in, going first here. And then we're going to be normal summoning a Rocket Recharger, which isn't the greatest option, but they will be able to go for Striker Dragon. Then they're going to go for Striker Dragon effect here, which will be giving them the Boot Sector launch. Then we can activate the effect of Striker Dragon, targeting itself as well as the Recharger. And then Recharger can activate its effects if we wanted to, but we're choosing not to do that actually in this scenario. And then we'll be able to activate the effect of, or we're going to put the Regained onto the field, activate the effect of the Druid Worm, banishing the Striker Dragon, which can then activate the effect of the Regained. They're going to chain Mourner to this. Interesting. Maybe thinking that they don't want to... Why would you chain Mourner to this? I actually don't even know. Then we get the additional draw here. Drawing into a hand trap. They're going to look at the hand, which is quite unfortunate. We see a Mourner and then the Gazelle, putting back the Gazelle there, leaving them with a hand of Imperm, Mourner. They're going to see a Fenrir there. Definitely not going to be stopping the Fenrir. Searching for another copy of itself. And they didn't have to really play. They can just pass turn, yeah. We're going to see a draw for turn, and it's a non-playable card. I believe it's actually Nibiru, the Primal Being. But they're going to simply just set 2 mystery cards here in passing. We're going to be seeing the Druid Worm turning itself to attack position here. And they have so much pressure they're able to put on the board. It doesn't really matter if they end up able to make any plays. They can just start slowly attacking and chipping down the life points to like go for victory. Unless they can get like another random body on the field through like going for a Striker Dragon, I guess. They're going to see them go battle phase here, and this is a good solid amount of damage, that is a 59, leaving them down to 21. They can go for an SP, and then SP is going to be able to banish. And they're going to obviously tag the Imperm. They're going to activate the Imperm. They're going to chain Imperm here. They're going to activate the SP here. And then they're thinking if they want to regain. They can special summon out the Fenrir once again. So having 2 Fenrirs when it comes back here, which is pretty crazy. You don't see that very often, having 2 Fenrirs on the field alongside an SP. And we draw a branded fusion for turn, which is very nice if we didn't have these crazy this crazy board of Mirror Swords Knight here. They're going to go for the Rinbrum, dumping the Albaz as well as the Gazelle. And then they're going to be searching for Coatl here, and they're going to get hit with the Droll and Lockbird, which means we're not going to get to search for Mirror Swords Knight. And then we're going to activate the effect of the Fenrir. We're going to be able to banish the Rinbrum face down here, but they're going to be chaining a Imperm on this. And they're thinking about they're going to be chaining SP. And they're going to be chaining the Rinbrum to negate this here, which is actually really nice for us. So they're going to be negating the SP, bouncing back a copy of the Fenrir, and they're going to go battle phase attack over the SP, dealing that 900 damage, which is pretty nice. But making sure they have that Rinbrum for the follow-up turn. They're going to go battle phase, attack, activate the effect of banishing it face down here, and they're going to be able to redeclare. And that is going to be game right on itself. Having, unfortunately, that nib drawn for turn is just not what we need. But that's what happens when you play a bunch of hand traps. You do find yourself clogging up on them a lot. It's very unfortunate. With Dragon Link's huge bodies, they're able to put so much pressure on the field alongside that Fenrir. Regardless, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I want to see some more content like this. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.